Hey, good morning. Welcome to today's Cuppa with Katie. Today, I want to talk about this idea of how on earth do you tap into your inherent value and worth when you have been believing stories that are based on life experiences that seem to prove that it's fact that you aren't inherently valuable or worthy. Right? Like how do you do this? How do you find your value? How do you find your worth? And how do you actually believe it and hold on to it so that you have that sense of inner empowerment, of peace, of well-being, where you've got mind, body, spirit integrated, so that you feel like you have emotional and mental mastery. And, at the end of the day, so you feel happy, like you're meant to be here. And not least, that you're worthy and valuable enough to be supported in life by others. Yeah. Hello, Malka. Good to see you too. And hi, Emma, and anyone else joining. Please say hello. It's so lovely to be with you. So why do I want to talk about this today? I asked for guidance on what to speak about today, and I pulled a card. I pulled one of my Wild Kuan Yin oracle cards. Here's the oracle cards. Hey, Kellyanne. And I've pulled Blessings of the Kite Dancer. I'm going to show that to you in a minute. We'll come to that later. This was just confirmation, actually, of what I was to speak about today. And then I'll read through the reading at the end of this call to help kind of simplify the message and help you to receive it. So, all right. Where do we start with this stuff? Oh, why am I even having this conversation with you to start with? All right. So I have just spent the morning preparing to work with a client today. So in sort of 45 minutes, I'm starting work with a private client, and we're starting off with a 2-hour intensive, which is called a reset. And in advance of that intensive, which we're having today, this client has been preparing a body of work to submit to me. So I send her a bunch of questions that explore where she's at in her life at the moment, her pain points. She gives me some history on herself, her family, her parental relationships with her caregivers, that kind of thing. She's clear on what she wants to get out of the session. That all of this stuff goes into this document, and she submits that to me, and I spend my time reading it and making notes and just really preparing to support her. What's really beautiful about that is just this idea. I mean, I don't know if anyone watching has ever worked with a coach in that way. Speaking for myself, whenever I've worked with a coach in that way, it's the most incredible gift I've ever given myself, to kind of pour myself out onto paper and share that with somebody else. I mean, first of all, today we're speaking about how do you find your value and your worth. Right there, the willingness to put yourself out on paper and share it and show it to another human being and ask for help and support is a major step to realizing your value and your worth, because you're really like just that act. It's a huge leap of faith and trust, right? But right in that act, you're basically saying to the universe, to life, I'm willing to have my life feel better. I'm willing to feel better. I'm willing to create change, and I'm willing to believe I'm enough. So just that in its own right is the beginnings of creating value and worth. But I sort of digress, and I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. I've spent the morning reading these client notes and just falling in love with this woman. Like, as the coach, receiving her notes, being privy to her life experiences, to her pain. A couple of times she's written, is this too much information? It's never too much information. It's like, it's just an honor to be trusted and invited into somebody's life in this way. And to know that this is a woman who's desiring to connect with her value and worth, to know that I can help her with that is just, it kind of blows my mind. But to know that because she shared her story and her fears and her struggles and her worries with me, and by the way, her desires and what she wants instead, because she shared that with me, I know that energetically my witnessing of her in such a sacred container amplifies the manifestation of what she wants. I can just feel it when I'm reading her notes. I'm reading all the stories that she's been telling herself for years. I'm reading all of the evidence as to why she tells herself that she's not good enough, that she's not worthy. Like when you read the evidence, it's like, well, of course you would think that based on that happened to you when you were 3, when you were 5, when you were 6, when you were 7, when you were 9, when you were 11, when you were 13. Like this is what I've those ages are coming out right now, because for the woman I'm about to work with, she had major pieces happen to her along her timeline of life at those fundamental ages where she was being imprinted, right? Particularly before she turned 7. She's being imprinted with belief systems and behavioral habits and ways of showing up in the world to survive that have become her normal as a 40-something-year-old woman. And I'm reading the facts. I'm reading her actual life experience where it makes sense that she's walking around now going, I don't know how I'm supposed to believe in my value and my worth. And I'm reading the stories and I'm feeling deeply in love with her. This is what's so beautiful about this work. Like, I have the privilege of being able to see past and to feel past her stories. So when she says to me, one of my biggest desires from the session is to inherently know my value and my worth, hence the title of today's Cuppa with Katie, when I read that, I'm like, it's a no-brainer. Like, of course you're valuable. Of course you're worthy. Just the way she crafted these notes and the way she so beautifully and vulnerably shared herself with me, I feel her value and her worth. She is a woman, she is a human being, and she is doing her best in this world. And she's reaching out through a leap of faith and trust to work with someone like me to take her life to the next level. Hey, Lindy. To take her life to the next level. But I can't go onto this coaching call and say to her, it's a no-brainer. What do you mean you need to learn yourself, your worth and your value? I see it. Like that's not important. To share with her that I see it is a beautiful piece to share, and for her to know that I see her through the lens of love. I see her with zero judgment. I see the beauty that she is. I see her potential. I see her possibility. And when I say the word potential and possibility, those words, to me, they're not a future piece. They're inherently here and available to her right now. So there is power in me reflecting that back to her, but that's not where she's going to get her healing. Her healing is going to come from within her. She has to realize for herself her inherent worth and value. And that's the coaching. Like, that's where I become her guide to help her see it for herself through particular lines of questioning and taking her on a journey that will be emotional. It will be spiritual. There'll be some mental and physical as well. It's a very emotional journey, though, the journey home to self. That's my role, is to take her home to herself. And so how do we do that? Well, how do we do that? I mean, it's completely unique to every single client I work with. There's no like cookie cutter approach. Today, I am going to give you 3 tips, 3 really freaking powerful tips that you can apply straight away to start to realize your own value and self-worth. And it'll be my pleasure to do that. And your journey to that is always going to be completely unique to you. And here's tip number 1. It starts with willingness. Okay? I know some of you who are on the call right now. In fact, I know all of those who've said they're on the call. I know that you already know this. It starts with willingness. So if there is a desire to know and love yourself more, or if there is a desire to realize your inherent worth and value, you choose to be open and available to the discovery of that. You decide enough is enough with the excuse me, with the subconscious kind of unconscious reactive way of approaching life that you've been doing, and you choose to find a conscious responsive way. You're choosing different. You're choosing to trust, to believe there even is a different way of approaching life. Even though you don't know what that could look like, you don't know the route to it, you're choosing to trust that it's available to you because you've heard others say that it is, that they've experienced it. Maybe you've heard me say it a gazillion times. There'll be other teachers and coaches and people out there who will have shared with you that it is possible to discover your inherent value and worth. I hope that they have all shared with you it's not a destination, it's a journey. It's a daily discovery. It's a daily remembering. It's a daily choosing love over fear. Yeah. And it's a daily deepening. It's a daily exploration. It's a daily curiosity. Yeah. To continue to create and deepen a relationship with yourself. It starts with willingness. Even though the prayer might be, right? The prayer might be, even though I don't know my value and my worth, I'm willing to be shown. Even though I don't even believe it's possible for me to discover that I have value and inherent worth, I'm willing to be shown that it is. At the very basic level, that's where we start. It's beautiful to write that in your journal as well, to take it from in here to on paper, to energetically transfer the information from being in here and into your journal into like a more physical reality, and then to use your words and share it with somebody else. So if you're in my evolution membership and there's something in your life that you're wanting to change and you want to show a willingness for that, please go into our Facebook group like right now. If you're watching this, go in there right now or today and write what you're willing to change and be witnessed by the rest of us. There's something about sharing it and being witnessed and having other people hold you in that light of potential and possibility that is available to you right now. That's so freaking powerful. If you have a coach, you're going to tell your coach, tell your best friend, tell your family, tell your kids if appropriate. Yeah, it all starts with willingness. Okay. Now, step two, no, not step, like a little tip 2 that I'm going to share with you. Notice, because this is about, what is this about? This is about working with the flow of life. This is about trusting your process. There will be something going on in your life right now that is the perfect vehicle to begin the process of you tapping into your value and your worth. There's something going on for you right now, and it'll be different for every single one of you watching. So one client I've been working with, what's going on for her right now is absolute exhaustion. That's like the predominant thing. There's so many things going on for her. There's multiple challenges, multiple desires, all sorts of busyness. But when we tapped into it, what's the fundamental thing that's really trying to get your attention right now? For her, it's exhaustion. And so we address that. Forget everything else. We are complicated creatures, right? There's always a lot going on. And if you try and fix everything at once, by the way, not that you're anything to be fixed, but if we try and like address everything at once, just the idea of that is utterly overwhelming and we're not going to get started. So self-love is self-responsibility, and it invites us to take baby steps, because remember, it's the journey, not the destination. We work with what's presented to us first. You could write a list of 10 things that you think you need to work on But there's one thing right now that's really, really calling you for attention. So what is that one thing? I wonder if any of you who are on here live, or if you're replay, can you type hashtag replay and share the one thing if you dare? And I get that this is quite personal, so you might not want to in a public space like this. If you're in my Evolution membership, go into the membership and share it there. This video will be put in there and you can share it there, and you'll know you're in your very safe little bubble with like-minded women and me holding you safe. What's the one thing that's calling you right now? For this woman, it was exhaustion. What is it for you? Is there a particular challenge with one particular person right now that's really triggering your codependency, for example? Is there something around your health right now that's really like knocking on the door for your attention? Malk is saying, I think the one thing is really owning what I'm worth. Yes. And what's the pain point right now? What is the pain point right now? Like, how is that really viscerally showing up in your life right now and not settling? Malka says, what's the thing that's viscerally showing up for you right now? Are you playing small? Are you saying no to certain engagements or invitations because you're scared to say yes, because you're scared to put yourself out there? Is that the thing that's really like got your attention right now? Are you nervous to invest in something at the moment? Is that the thing that's just got your attention right now? Like, what is playing on your mind? What feels like it's taking up energy for you at the minute? What's one big thing? So notice, so for Malka, I want you to notice what the experiences are, or the decisions or the choices you have to make right now that are feeling difficult, because you know it's something around not owning your worth, but the piece is the thing that's showing up for you is what you've got to work with. So to use the example of the client who's exhausted, because she's like, I know this client wants to find her value and worth. That's the bigger picture piece. What's she working with, dealing with right now? She's exhausted. And so we use that as we trust that is the piece that she is meant to work with right here, right now, where she can begin to experience her self-worth and her value. So if she's exhausted, and like, this is really super practical stuff, right? But she's not addressed the exhaustion for ages because she hasn't believed she's worthy of it or valuable enough to maybe stop, maybe take time off work. Like, can you hear how practical this is? Book time off work. Take a sabbatical. Stay in bed for 3 days. What will it take to make that happen? Call in extra childcare. What will it take what else will it take? Like earlier nights, like a pre-bed routine, changing up some of her nutrition, maybe taking some supplements that can start to help calm and ease her nervous system and help her achieve better, deeper sleep. Some more self-care, having that massage, making time to go for that doctor's appointment. Like, all of these pieces have been an important thing for this one client, because she has to address her exhaustion and all the different things that are causing her to be exhausted. And it's asking really practical questions. Well, what will it take for you to get more sleep, to get more help around the house, to get more help with the kids, to improve your diet? Like, what will it take? Book the nutritionist, book the time off work, super practical stuff. But in taking the actions on that super practical stuff, she's sending a message to herself that she's worth it. By practicing asking for help, even if it's paid help by a childcare provider or a doctor or a nutritionist, even if she's paying for that help, she's still sending a message to herself that she's worth investing in, that she's worthy of that support. So through the taking action on the piece that's showing up as a pain point in her life, the action taking is proving her worth. And step by step by step. So at the moment, as she's working, as she's using the exhaustion as her focus point for healing, like she's using the, okay, I want to rewind that. She's not using the exhaustion as a focus point. She's using the intention to heal her exhaustion as her focus point. She's finding all sorts of ways that she is proving her worth to herself. And there'll be different things for you, right? Like for me, okay, what's an example I can give that I've done recently? So it was Mother's Day on Sunday, wasn't it? And it wasn't because it was Mother's Day. It was just a happy, beautiful coincidence that on Mother's Day in the evening, I sat down with my laptop and I had lists of things I've been meaning to do for myself for a long time. Things that make me feel good. What was the pain point for me? Feeling middle-aged and frumpy. Okay, my pain point, which was in my face, I feel middle-aged and frumpy. What could I do practically to begin to address that? Well, because by the way, my bigger picture is I'm always desiring to deepen my self-worth and my value, right? So I've been sleeping in shitty, horrible pajamas. I've been sleeping in my husband's old t-shirts, old pairs of tracksuit pants that are ripped and baggy and make me look frumpy. I mean, enough already. So I got online and in fact, the doorbell will probably go any second now because I know they're about to turn up. I bought myself 3 or 4 pairs of beautiful new pajamas. Beautiful. I hope they fit. So I did that. I have been meaning to buy new for weeks, by the way. I've really let this go. And when we let stuff go that we know really helps us, we are chipping away at our self-worth, like chipping away at our value. And so I've been meaning to buy all the bits that go into my daily muesli. Like I make a breakfast most mornings. I'll get to it. I also bought a NutriBullet because my blender is shit and my smoothies were taking ages to make and ages to blend and I could never fit enough in there. And I know that my daily smoothie makes me feel really good. I need my green smoothie packed with all the goodnesses and the oils and the nuts and the seeds and the spinach and the berries and the whole thing. So I needed a new blender. So I got myself a NutriBullet. Turns up yesterday, had my green juice today. I've got a massive one. It's still on the go. It's fantastic. I can already feel my vitality coming back because I've invested in that. I invest in all the ingredients that go into my muesli that I make. Special, yummy stuff that I love, that I know really supports my well-being. It's not cheap, but I buy in bulk and it's there and it lasts for ages. And it makes me feel so good. So yeah, I bought the oils. I bought some supplements. I've been meaning to buy some collagen supplements. I bought those. I just treated myself really. I mean, this is what I value. This is what I choose to spend my money on. I don't buy much in the way of clothes and shoes. I'm certainly not buying much in the way of holidays and travel at the moment. So, this is what I'm choosing to value. I've reached a point in my life of being nearly 47 where it's so important for the longevity of my life and for feeling the way I want to feel that I invest in this stuff. So I sat down and I did that. And as I did it, did my sense of self-value and self-worth increase? Oh my God, yes. Because I was finally taking action on something that's been sort of nagging in the background for a long time. I mean, really, it's crazy to me how long I've waited to buy these things. Honestly, like really fessing up here, it's been months. I'm overdue buying this stuff. I've got various support going on in the house, supplement, nutritional wise, but it just was ready to be taken to the next level. And I've done it. I feel really good for that. So these are the sorts of things. Okay. What's Teresa saying? I'm trying to get exposure. I'm trying to get exposure for my business, but it's not really landing, and I feel like people aren't interested. Not getting paid is affecting my self-worth because it feels like I'm not valued. Yeah, so I'm trying to get exposure for my business and it's not really landing. And I wonder, maybe Teresa, I know you're considering coming into Evolution membership, and if you do, you can get on the next coaching call. There'll be one coming up in the next week or two. There'll be an evening call coming up and you can ask me for coaching on this, and I would happily support you and go deeper into that with you. So I'm not going to try now because I'm aware of the time, and I've got a client call any minute. So I'm going to wrap up. Yeah. Okay. So the final tip that I wanted to share with you is to notice what your soul is calling you to. So tip 1 was the willingness. Tip 2 is to notice what your pain points are right now. Where are you being called right now to up level something and take action on that? And then it's, what is your current soul calling? So what's your soul calling you to do? Have you always wanted to write? Do you feel like there's an author within you desperate to come out? Have you always wanted to paint? Have you always wanted to book a trip to that country? Because don't worry, this situation and health that we're in right now isn't going to last forever. You'll be able to get on a plane again and travel. But what is it? Is it something? Is it purpose related? Is it work related? Is there just something that your soul has been tapping you on the head for a while? Or no, really, your soul's tapping you on the heart, isn't she? What's she been asking you to do? What have you known since you were a little girl that you were meant for? But you've been believing the stories that you're not good enough, that you have no worth to the world, you're not really meant to be here, you have no value. You've been listening to those awful stories. And so you've not been valuing the whispers of your soul, the desires of your heart. What is it? What's the thing? What's the thing? And what could you do today? What's one small thing you could do today to build on, to acknowledge and take action on those whispers of your soul? Is it just researching? Like if it's a trip or something, could you just research it? If it's painting, could you start to just create some space in your home somewhere where you're going to set up your paints? Could you start researching the cost of the paints or where you're going to get the best deals from? Could you start flicking through magazines for inspiration on what you're going to paint, or old photographs, or walking through nature? Heart tapping. Yeah, it totally, of course, it's tapping on your heart, isn't it? Your soul calling. I'm commenting on Malka's comment. Yeah. What's your heart calling you to? Do something. At the very least, acknowledge the heart tapping and write the calling in your journal. Share it with a friend. Get into my Evolution membership. Those of you who are members, and if you're not, the first month is free. And if you don't like it, you can leave. That's no problem. Share with us. What's your soul calling you to? Let us witness you. Let us remind you how possible that is for you. Let us give you ideas and inspiration of where you could begin. That is the big, because as we acknowledge the callings of our soul, you've got to remember your soul is intrinsically valuable and worthy. That is what is intrinsically valuable and worthy about you. You are not your beliefs. You are not your life experiences. You are not the stuff that you own. You are a beautiful spiritual being, and it is that's inherently worthy and valuable. And so, the journey to connecting with your value and worth is a journey home to self and connecting with your spiritual truth. So today I'm just giving you 3 tips to begin that journey home, to help you to start changing up the stories that are running that's saying you're not enough, into stories into new beliefs based on new evidence and new truth that you are worthy. Now, I was going to do a reading. I'm going to do it super quick because I would like to be prepared for my next call. So this is Blessings of the Kite Dancer. I pulled this just before coming on the call. And it says, I see your full potential, and I know that you are willing to develop into all that you can be. I will encourage and guide you. Sometimes I will evoke the best in you through opportunity. Sometimes I will coax forth the best in you through challenge. What you can be assured of is success on this path of self-development. Life has offered you much natural ability and talent, and I will help you discover and develop it so that you can offer yourself back to life as a beautiful gift. Does that not sum up what I've just been talking about? I absolutely love these cards. I will read the guidance section, but I won't read the rest of it because I need to wrap up. Okay, so the guidance says, even the most impressive natural talent benefits from the guiding hand of a wise mentor. When a student shows particular promise, a teacher may place higher demands upon that student with the intention of drawing forth the talent within, realizing that additional work is needed to truly distill the student's potential. You've been gifted with a talent and ability. You may or may not be aware of it yet, but the divine knows it's important for your success in this lifetime to develop it. So maybe this is the tapping on your heart. So you've received a blessing from Wild Kuan Yin. It is that your talent will be nurtured by the divine into its full expression. This is a great gift. To feel the satisfaction of developing your inner potential and expressing it is profoundly satisfying and nourishing for the soul. And then I would add a line, and it reminds your humanness of your value and your worth. That would be the line I would add to that. Beautiful, right? So if you have the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle cards, this is card number 29, Blessings of the Kite Dancer. So you can read the rest. I hope this serves you today. I'm sending you so much love. I pray that you set the willingness, set the intention to commit to realizing your value and your worth more and more every day. I invite you to really enjoy the journey of that. Yeah, set that intention, the willingness. Notice where you're being guided in really practical ways right now to start to take action in your life so that you can start to realize your worth, and take time to tap in and tune in to the callings of your heart, the whispers of your soul, and start to take some, even just the tiniest steps towards honoring those, because life feels soul destroying when we don't, right? If you're not already a member of Evolution Membership, please come and join us. We are such an awesome, amazing group of women. Like I said, the first month is still free. You can try it out. If you don't like it, you can leave. If you do like it, you can stay on, and then it's just £39 a month. Easy peasy. I get to coach you twice a month. We have 2 group coaching calls every month. They're so valuable. They're so powerful. We have an expert, at least one expert, come in and run a masterclass every single month. At least one, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. This month we've had 2, one other and myself. I ran a class. And there's love notes that go in there every day. There's chat, there's banter, there's support, there's encouragement. There's so much, and everything is recorded. So everything since January last year has been recorded for you to watch back. There is such an amazing library of content and support. Everything from your sexuality, your sensuality, your spirituality, to money, to manifesting, to men, to like you name it, we cover it in Evolution Membership. So come on over. I'd love to have you. Must dash now. Sending you all my love, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye, darlings. See ya. I'll put the link to the membership. I'll put it below in the comments. All right, bye.